Here we go. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 806. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Thank you very much for downloading and subscribing to the show. Please visit the main website at miketechshow.com. You can email me suggestions and questions for show topics, and I will get them on the air as best as I can. Email me at miketechshow@gmail.com. Please visit and subscribe to the YouTube page for all the videos. That is youtube.com/MichaelSmithMTS. I have it pinned as the first topic on the main website. Please click subscribe. I really appreciate it. This show is brought to you by Instant House Call. Remotely support your customers, unattended and on demand. If you are an IT pro or an MSP, this is your solution for remote access. And you can try it for 15 days for free by clicking on the link, the big banner at miketechshow.com. On the left-hand side, sign up, use the promo code, or just go directly to instanthousecall.com. But don't forget the promo code MikeTechShow. This show is also brought to you by MagnusBox. This is the best online backup service for your clients. Check out their free trial and experience the same features as paying customers. You get to experience everything that the partners, like myself included, what we use, and you get to try it out. Listeners of the podcast, mention the Mike Tech Show and receive free white labeling for your company and get 50% off the platform fee for the first 3 months. So that's tremendous savings. Mention that you heard it on the Mike Tech Show. And remember, MagnusBox is HIPAA compliant. Every employee goes through HIPAA training. And one of the topics tonight, one of the first things we're going to do, I'm going to demonstrate a MagnusBox restore from the not the original machine, but restoring it to a different machine, and just how easy it is. Also, don't forget it's holiday time. Boy, I hope you used my Amazon link for Black Friday. Amazon, if you use my link, which is in the show notes, that link changed in early August. Use that link. Your price stays the same, but a small commission comes back to the show and helps me and helps support the Mike Tech Show. Really appreciate it. Please abuse the Amazon link as best as you can. Bookmark it, save it. Anytime you go to Amazon, click that link, and then when you add anything into the cart and you check out, that's going to help support the show. And remember, your price stays the same. All right. I got great show. Going to discuss a MagnusBox restore. Going to talk about the Synology OpenVPN, and then we got listener email. So let's start the show off by displaying and running the MagnusBox client, and let me explain what I'm demonstrating. So this is my endpoint program. This is what the interface looks like after you install the software and sign in. You have backup, restore, history, and settings. And then you see my daily backup. And last night it was successful. You see 11 o'clock. So what I would like you to do is when you need to restore, and I had to do this yesterday because I had to restore for a client who happens to be in Florida. His system had a problem and it needs to be redone. But we back that up every single night with MagnusBox, and we've been having a problem. We've been battling for a week. And what he had was a duplicate system there that just happened to be there there was a long story behind that, but he had a system, fired it up, had instant house call on it. I remoted in, I set up his profile, I got everything set, but now he needed his files. So we're going to pretend, because I have 2 machines that back up every night. I have my machine in Florida and my machine here. So remember, this is the Beast. The Beast 2 is in Florida. So when you have a backup for a computer, and let's say that computer gets destroyed, something happens, you now have the replacement computer. Use the same username and password that you created for that user in the MagnusBox portal. You download the client and you sign in with that. And now, before you even add protected items, which is what you would do to start a new backup, you just click Restore. With Restore, you have the MagnusBox storage vault. I just click Next. Now, this is going to read all of my protected items to retrieve here. But let's pretend I want to restore something from my computer in Florida. This will take a minute, and I'm going to show you there's just a little checkbox, and you can pick another system. And since that's under my account, so let's say you have 7 systems under one account. Now, there we go. You can show unknown items, but here, show items from other devices. I check that because let's say I want to restore something from Florida to this computer. And there is the Beast 2. So here we have daily backup from my computer. What was just added is the backup for the Beast 2. So this is where, for my client, there was only the one from the other system. And then I open it up. Let's get a daily backup from last night, from Tuesday. Actually, it's Tuesday morning, even though today is Tuesday. I back up late. Now, what this will do is to select items, it's now retrieving everything from my backup. And all I have to do is cherry pick what I want. Now, I can do all the items, or I can just select what items I want. So let's let this spin. I have a lot of stuff that's backed up. And this is if I ever needed a file or a version of a file. So you've seen all those different dates. Let's say I had a master template and I wanted the version from a few days before. I can get that because we have the backups every night, and the retention, I can go back and be able to pick a file and get a different version. So let's go to the path. So we have the C drive and the D drive that I back up. Let's pick something from D, and you can see clients, drivers, you get to see music, you get to see Synology stuff. There's a tax for Toyota. I have a Toyota, so we're not going to get into the directory, but let's say I want this. Here we go. Mike's 60th birthday. That was the what Taz asked Liz Longley to give me. There's the file right there. I can just click that and then go next, and I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to pick. This is where you can select the output. So I can overwrite existing files, or I can restore it to the original spot, or I can browse a new place to restore, a new target. That's it. It's that simple, and then you just wait. And here, if you take a look, these are all my backups every single night, success going all the way through, as you can see. And you can see how much everything's backed up. I'm going to close that, and I don't know, a lot of you, if you've never used MagnusBox, or you hear me talk about it every week now, you get a little insight. as to just how easy it is to do a restore, which is the most important thing for a backup. You have to have something, and you should be insisting upon that for your clients. And why not do that? Partner with them and make some money. And you're offering a tremendous service for them by making sure that it's backed up. And it, by the way, as easy it is to restore, it's very easy to select the items and create a daily backup or weekly or hourly. You got all of those options, and that's what you want to do. And there you go. Magnus Box said, you absolutely need to test. And my bigger clients, you should really test them all. My bigger clients, I demonstrate, especially clients with servers, I do that twice a year. We do a test doing a restore, even if it's just a file. Make sure that you got that process down. What if something happens to you? You know, the main person on that you're communicating with the company, you want to have that documentation set so it's easy for them to be able to restore a file because they got the name, they got the password, you know, if they need to get a file, if you want them to do that. Now, me, they have that info, but I want to be the first phone call just to manage that whole process and experience. And, you know, you can't, this is one of the things that you get to justify your existence by being able to demonstrate you can restore files. Very important. Wanted to do that because you wouldn't believe the thank you I got yesterday from my client in being able to say, Mike, oh my God, thank you so much. Now I have all my files on this system. And he is happy. And that's what we want. I want to be able to have that experience with every client. And it was so nice. And I'm glad I got to demonstrate that. Boy, we got lots and lots to talk about. More stuff. So, Synology OpenVPN. What we're going to do, and I'm hoping that there's not going to be any personal information here on display. You're going to see some. So what I am going to do now is open up my browser and I got to clear all. There we go. I am now going to display, for those of you just listening to the audio, you definitely want to go to YouTube and check out the video for this because I'm actually showing my screen. So my internal IP address is just, 1.10. And I'm now logged in to my Synology for my office. And what I click up here, the main menu, and you can see all of the apps and all of the products. And yes, I am a beta tester for Magnus Box, and there's the icon for the Synology. But take a look. If you want, you have Control Panel, File Station, Hyper Backup. That's the local backup that I do every night. Then you can download the apps. We have the Storage Analyzer. Let's take a look at the Storage Analyzer. No, actually, you know what? Here, yeah, this is good. I have a total available of 8.11 terabytes, and I'm only using 1.68. And let me tell you, most of that's music. Okay? Taz is telling me we need a different wallpaper. I helped set his Synology up. He brought everything since he drove to Florida. I was able to do the initial setup for him. What I want to talk about tonight is the VPN server. What you do is for the VPN server, download the VPN server app. Once you download it, there are 3 options for the VPN. You got PPTP, OpenVPN, and L2TP IPsec. We're going to go OpenVPN. Now, they have a default IP address that you make that different than your local LAN. So that's right now 10.8.0. You have a port forward, and now you could just take the defaults, go to the OpenVPN, set that up, and here's the important thing. Export the configuration. Now, this is the problem that I don't know why the certificate changed. I have a client, they're all Macs, and they log in remotely to the Synology. It's a photography business. So tons and tons of photos. So that's where, I got to talk to Mike and say, from Magnus Box, what would you charge for 30 terabytes of a Synology? Anyway, that's the kind of numbers they're using. So pretty scary. So right now, because of the cost and the size, we're using something cheap, but like Amazon Glacier, but that costs a lot of money when you go to withdraw and you go to restore the file. So anyway, on mine here for the OpenVPN, you export the configuration and it saves a file, openvpn.zip. There is a text file along with the certificates. So we use a program called TunnelBlink to connect a Mac to the OpenVPN network. There's one file, and I'm going to have a link for how to set up the VPNs on a Synology. There's a great link, one link. It explains everything for all three of them. I happen to like OpenVPN. OpenVPN, the Windows client, it's great. You can just go to OpenVPN, download it. It's all about taking that configuration file and having a directory with all of the certificates that are included in this export file. So you unzip it, and then once you install the VPN client, you literally take the config file and drop it on top to set that up for connecting. Now, here's the thing. You have to edit one line. You have to put the public IP address for the OpenVPN. So, or you can put the quick link, the Synology Quick Connect that you set up. And that's a whole different discussion and topic for Quick Connect. So what I do for clients is set this all up and they love it. Another client over the weekend, I set up and tested with a system here in my office. They want to start working remotely. And some of their apps are local to a server. So even though it's a different system and it's not the Synology, you can still connect. It was great. They have 3 apps. One of them's a FileMaker server, and then they have 2 other apps. I was able to easily set that up on a workstation, connecting to VPN, using their credentials that I've created for each user on the Synology, and connect it. And then I remoted into the owner's system at home and did the same thing remotely, got him connected. He just loves it. And now that we have another variant, we don't know with COVID, we don't know what's going to happen. And that's why most of my clients, even though a lot of them are back, they're kind of half back. And you have to have in your back pocket a solution, because I believe we're going to be going through this for a long, long time. And with that, being the IT specialists and IT support that we are, you got to make sure your clients are flexible, that they can work different days from home. And the VPN is just another solution. Now, you can even get, because of the Synology for the storage, you can get a lot of VPNs with the router and firewall that you put in place. If you have a Sonic wall, if you have a Cisco, there's lots of great technology and clients that you can use for the VPN. Cost a little money though. And I think the Synology, OpenVPN's free. The app is free for the Synology, and it's secure enough for creating that encrypted tunnel that you're good. So I wanted to demonstrate that for everybody, just to give you a little peek into the OpenVPN. And so I'm still in the middle of solving the certificate expired. I can't believe that for the photographer. So I had to re-export the config and reinstall TunnelBlink and then drop the configuration file on, and we connect it. So I don't understand the certificate expired. So if you run into that, and that's something that just by trial and error, if you get a certificate expired error, just redo the client. Delete the connection from the OpenVPN client, re-download and export a current certificate. And here's what I think. Their DSM went from the 6 dot whatever to a 7, and I think that's where things changed. And, also TunnelBlink had a new update. So I wasn't sure, was it the Synology update, a TunnelBlink update, or a Mac update that was causing the problem for everybody remote. And that makes it tough. And I just installed everything on my iMac, and I connect it right away. But I downloaded the latest export configuration file. So that led me to, okay, wait a second, let's try that. And there we go. All right. So talked about a little bit about Synology. Let's, something else. An annoying thing has happened. When you transfer someone from one system to another, this happened today. It was very frustrating for the user who uses Chrome. And they had a system crash, and they needed, they have the spare system, and Chrome was just the default configuration that was on that computer. And they were having trouble opening PDF files. And if you open Chrome, and I'm going to open that right now, and I'm going to walk through the settings, you can go to the settings in Chrome, and then there is privacy and security, then site settings. Scroll all the way down to additional content settings, and then you'll see PDF documents. Click that. And now you have open PDFs in Chrome, or download the PDFs. So you can save a step here where if someone's opening a PDF, it just automatically starts downloading in Chrome, and they can just open it up, and it saves an extra step since they need to save those PDFs. This is a law firm. So that's something we had to do today, and it made the client very, very happy. We have a lot of little things like that we've been doing. Been crazy busy, which has been great. Knock wood. We've been very, very busy. We're getting ready for all the systems are ready. We have 10 systems going to a client down in Delaware. That's going to happen not this Friday, but the following Friday. My son and his wife, they're going to go down and set them all up while I'm kind of covering the business in the office here. We have a bunch of systems, another one tomorrow afternoon being set up for an employee of one of our clients, actually one of the CPA firms that we help with, that we manage. Then I'm trying to think, we have a couple laptops that we're deploying. I have a laptop on its way in for a financial advisor that they just hired someone. Very nice little uptick of hiring that I'm very glad to see our clients. And 2 really big contracts for 2 clients that I'm very happy. So they're going to be expanding. So good stuff. And now, before I get to emails, Taz, the moderator, just invited someone to join Discord. And I'm glad he did that, because now I have a, now it's a nice reminder. Discord is a great platform that was set up by PhotoRay, who's a moderator, and tested out by Taz and several others. And I was able to, while I was in Florida, have a great conference call with PhotoRay, taking me through everything. Discord for the Mike Tech Show has multiple forums that you can discuss just casual stuff, discuss the show. There's a show links that I'm going to update each time we do a show. There's an event section. So show times in the next show when it's scheduled, I'll make sure that's there. If anything's changing on times or days, like today, this is a Tuesday, this is an odd day. That's because I'm flying back to Florida for the weekend. My son Ryan and I, we have a music festival Friday and Saturday, collapse Sunday, return on Monday. Then what you want to do is, there's a hardware section. If you've got problems, software, please join Discord. The link with the invite will be in the show notes for every show, and you'll see Discord invite. Just click on that. You're good to go. So just wanted to remind everybody, and I'm going to be in there as often as I can. All right, let's talk about some questions. So this is from Austin. He had a question on the Windows Repair Toolbox that you showed on the latest show. So let's say I'm doing malware removal. Is it possible to make a batch file or a script so that the toolbox uses different programs to scan? Like, for example, first scan with MCSoft. If anything found, remove it, then scan with rkill, and etc. So how do you do that? And I'm going to try to do this live. So as I'm queuing up here in my download section, I have a Windows Repair Toolbox, and I will bring it up. And yeah, you heard the ding for bringing it up. So I'm starting that, and as it loads, this is where I'll be editing the audio piece of this as I'm waiting. I don't want everybody to do that when they're listening. Okay, got the screen. So now I'm going to switch back to my display and take note for malware removal tab. You can check everything and then run unattended. It's that simple. You can check all kinds of boxes. You can even add custom tools, final tests. If you want to test Java, PDF, you can test all of these things. You just open it up on the client, pick what you want, run unattended. That's it. Done. You can even have CCleaner run. Don't do disk frag unless you know it's a mechanical drive. So take a look at this. You have ESET, Kaspersky, MCSoft, Microsoft, TDS Killer, rkill, Hitman Pro, which is a combination of a bunch, Rogue Killer, Malwarebytes, Adware Cleaner, Norton PE, and Dr. Web. So I'm probably least familiar with Dr. Web. So Austin, it's so simple. Just click on that tab, check everything. Now, can you do it from a script? Yes, I think you can. I'm just not sure how, but right now, do it manually like this. You just click everything you want, run it, let it go, run unattended. And that is that. So easy answer for Austin. Let's go on to the next email. And this is from Andy. Thanks for turning me on to Fab's Auto Backup 7. Was working with an older couple who had Windows 10 on a laptop that originally came with Vista and a mechanical drive. They were set on HP, So we found them a Windows 11 PC, figured they would need an upgrade in 4 years, and this gentleman only wanted one profile moved to the new PC, and he had it set up as a local account and didn't have a Microsoft account. Didn't realize what a pain it was to set up a new PC without a Microsoft account. Yes, and you want the process, and I have a Windows Home process that you're going to love after this email here. So this is a link that you're going to want to keep, everybody. Since he didn't realize it was a problem on Windows 11, there's a link, and this will be in the chat, how to install Windows 11 with a local user account. Now, the real tip is, when in doubt, don't have a network connected. Don't have an Ethernet plug-in, and don't connect to the Wi-Fi. That's the big tip, especially with Windows 10. I'm less familiar doing Windows 11 from scratch. Haven't really got my feet wet with that enough, but don't have a network connected, and Microsoft has to let you continue with an account. You create a local account. This saves you from having to create a Microsoft account and going forward. So here's what he has. Just by creating a bogus email address, number 3, finally let me bypass the Microsoft account. This was my first use with Fabs, and it transferred the data flawlessly. So again, thanks for that tip. Have another question on Windows 11. May have been on Windows 10 for all I know, but since I chose local account, I did not see an option for a system image. It stated not all options were available. Since I still had Fabs plugged in, I just did an image of a new PC, but why is the system image disabled on a local account? Maybe I was looking in the wrong area. Sorry, I did not realize that it's disabled. So I'm going to look into that. I didn't get a chance, Andy, to read this earlier to solve this. So I will get back to you on that. This is from, let's scroll down. This is a big email. This is Mick. So let's go through this. He is coming from Melbourne, the land of Oz. Well, welcome. Thank you for emailing. I hope you or your subscribers or listeners can offer me some advice. I have been the IT guy for a self-help, not-for-profit group for about 28 years, except over the last 3 or 4 years while I was looking after my mother. The person who tended to them over the last 3 or 4 years is no longer interested. He resigned about a year ago in helping and has made a fair few changes without leaving much, if any, documentation behind as to what he's done. With COVID, they also have not been into the location where the average age, 70 years old, not that should make any difference. Computers are located for close to a year. Computers are located for close to a year. That's a short history. They have a peer-to-peer network comprised of 8 Windows 10 Pro desktops. They have been having ongoing connectivity issues between some of the connected computers and have not been able to connect for some computers as well as some folders which were previously shared out amongst all the computers. Microsoft, in their infinite wisdom, keeps changing permissions without telling you. So you have to have a remote access to all these systems. And he's managed to log in via TeamViewer, he says, to 2 computers and see that they are sprinkled across 3 different work groups. They have SMB2 installed on the 2 computers, so make the assumption that is the same for the others. Well, never assume. You have to double check. You got to make sure you have remote access to everybody. Put them all in the same work group. But that's less important with Windows 10. There are only 2 non-Microsoft account users with passwords. One, a normal user, and the other, the administrator. Make sure You have an admin local account on every computer that only you know the password. He continues, I logged onto the router and using the assigned IP addresses, I found issuing the following command for each IP address to see what I could. And he runs nbstat and he gives me a list of everything. Basically, I'm looking for suggestions as to the easiest way to join them all to the same work group. Identify any shares on each computer and how they were created. I don't know how they were created, but I can tell you easily how to check shares and whether the normal user has access to these, and if the normal user has the same password on each computer, and if there are any shortcuts on each computer to these shares. This is a lot of manual work. There is also a round-robin backup process that copies particular folders from one computer to another. I would assume that they're failing if there's permissions issues and any way of identifying how and where this is done on each computer. No, you got a lot of work ahead of you to manually figure that out. I don't know what the process sequence for installing Windows updates. I know I'm asking a lot of things. Okay, first off, make sure you have admin access to every single computer. Then, for passwords, you're going to have to look at all of the user accounts and make sure they're created on the systems for the same password. That's the problem with a peer network. Or, and this is less secure, turn off the ability for passwords and go into the network settings and change that to just be accessible. If it's just this one company and there's no other visitors and people coming in, yes, it's less secure, but it can also, you can start solving everything now and then start adding the security back in. But maybe turn off the password option for now on the networking. But what you really want is go to Control Panel. And then what you want to do is go to Administrative Tools. And there's a program that you want to become familiar with. It's called Computer Management. When you go to Computer Management, a lot of people forget about this, and that's why I wanted to cover it. There's a shared folders on the left-hand side. You got your shares, your sessions, and open files. And shares, I have, just for an example here, a scans share. And it's on my D drive because that's the share I have on my HP printer to share scans to a network folder. And I have the Beast here, so it can scan right to my system here. And then in Florida, I have the same printer. I have the same directory set up on a different drive for on the D drive called, labeled scans. Now, once you see that that's D scans, now it's easy. Just go to File Explorer, and I'm not showing this on my screen, but I'm going to D. I'm going down to Scans. Right-click, go to Properties, go to Sharing. Now, this is where I always share advanced sharing, and I don't lock permissions down by sharing. I do it at the file level for security. So if you go to permissions, make sure that you have change and read for everyone. That makes life easy for the shares. Now the tab for security, this is where you go to the details and either have everyone for everything, or you've now selectively picked users from that particular system. And that, if you're doing that, you got to make sure that the passwords are synced and they're set to never expire, and the user can't change it, or they're going to mess things up. So let's go back to Computer Management from Control Panel. In there, you have local users and groups. Go to the users, and this is where it's easy to right-click and reset a password. It's easy to see all of the users that are on the computer, because when you start messing with the Windows 10 menus, it's a pain. I like the old school way right here, local users and groups under computer management, which is under administrative tools, which is under control panel. This is where everything gets done. You also have disk management, device manager, event viewer, task scheduler. You should get, if you're not using this, you should get familiar with this. And especially in a peer network, this is going to save you. I think I've given you the keys to make this work. Please let me know if this helps. And I really hope that it does help you. And with that, for tonight, the next show will be back to normal on Thursday, and that will be December 9th. So no show December 2nd, as I'm recording this on Tuesday, November 30th. And please, everybody, support our sponsors and affiliates. Instant House Call for your remote access. Backups. Oh, go to magnusbox.com. Remember to mention you've seen it on the Mike Tech Show. And then Fab's Auto Backup. There you go. A testimonial from a listener in Australia. And, of course, Amazon. Everything you want to buy it from Amazon. Please use my link. It comes back. It helps support the show. I greatly appreciate it. That's it. Everybody, have a great week. I'll see you back here next Thursday, same time, same channel on Twitch. Sign up for Discord. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube videos. That's it. Good night, everybody. All right, let's